Okay, we are doing the new list. It's been a while, mainly because I was sick. My voice was all messed up. It's almost 100%, slightly worse. But there's been a lot of guns added. The Mosin Nagant, the AK family. There's been a lot of new additions. So for the SS gets a new addition, which is always a sad day. The AK-47. It is literally overpowered. I could be wrong, but I think it's currently the highest damaging assault rifle in the game. Not bad. Yeah, I mean, there has to be a highest damaging assault rifle in the game. It's just going to be like that. It shoots at 600 rounds a minute, which isn't fast. But this gun might currently be the only counter to the FAMAS. Because if you're accurate, you too shot people to the head with an assault rifle. Its timefire is utterly insane. Its automatic capabilities from afar is low. It's lacking. It's not very accurate fully auto. But up close, it just decimates everyone. But it's overpowered. It definitely needs nerfs. But if it fired a little bit faster and it had less recoil, it would be better than the FAMAS. It's the second best gun in the game, hands down. Now I move on to S, which definitely has a lot of new additions. First off, the AKM, a new gun. It's kind of like a little bit worse version of the AK-47. I have the same attachments as the AK-47 on it, but it's just a little bit worse. That's basically what it is. It's a slightly worse AK-47. The Mosin Nagant, my new love of the game. I love this gun. It is the most and the only skill-intensive sniper in the game. And is really strong. If you aren't a high enough level to have the Mosin unlocked or to purchase it, it has a damage model of 60 to 50. Now, if you're some scrub who doesn't know how the multipliers work, that means at any range, if you get a headshot with the Mosin, it is a insta-kill. It is instant death. Because snipers have a 3 times multiplier actually, so it can one-shot through walls at max range. It does a lot of damage if you hit the head. If you miss, you have to shoot him twice. It has 5 rounds to a mag. It's got an okay fire rate, and its reload speed isn't terrible. I love it. I keep using it. I almost have 800 kills on it already. It's the only sniper in the game that actually takes skill. The RPK. The RPK and RPK-74 are really, for the most part, almost the same guns. The RPK is currently the highest damaging currently the highest damaging machine gun in the game, which really means a lot. I mean, it's 5 points over the M60, but this thing can dominate. I think I've mastered the gun already, and it is insane what it can do. If it had a little bit faster fire rate or just more bullets in the magazine, it would probably beat the M60. Just the M60 has 0 recoil to it, and it also just has so much ammo behind it. So it's just you just decimate everyone with it. And that's the only reason the RPK isn't better. And the reason RPK 74 is with the RPK is the RPK fires 5.56. Some of you are asking, why does that mean it's on the same level as the RPK? I even say the RPK 74 is above the RPK. They pretty much have almost the same stats. The RPK 74 has less damage, so it's worse, right? No. The RPK fires 762. I don't know if it's 51 mmR or if it's just 51 millimeter, but it fires 762. There's only a handful of guns outside of its family in the game right now that fires a 7.62 cartridge. While the RPK 74, if I remember right, can not only get ammo from its family, which is 7.62, or most of them, it can also pick up guns off the M4, the M16, the G36. I haven't seen it in game yet, but I'm pretty sure it could pick it up off an MG36 or the Scar Hammer, which it actually should be able to, because they are of the same class. But you have a lot more ammo options. Like if you're running the RPK-74 and you do good and survive, you'll run out of ammo pretty quickly. And being able to have a lot more options for ammo is a big deal. Because if you just spray and pray, which is mostly what you do with it, or if you're just doing good and surviving a long time, then finding ammo is going to be a priority. Dog Park comes out of A+. I don't know why I put it there. It's such a good gun. I should run it some more and just see how it runs, just for fun. The BFG came up for the same reason. I don't know why I put an A+. It's a bullshit weapon that takes 0 skill. I even played around with it for a little bit. And yeah, it does take 0 skill. And we go on to A+, which has a lot of guns. I actually forgot to make this change, but all of the AUGs are going up. For the simple fact, they have no recoil. There is 0 recoil to them. They're just overpowered. I mean, they're almost overpowered. Like they're just too good. No recoil at all. They definitely need more recoil behind them. The M16A3, which is new. It's just basically a fully automatic version of the M16A4. Or M16A2. I forget the numbers, so I'm sorry if I'm wrong. But it's better or worse, depending on if you're better with burst or automatic. I prefer it over the M16, the burst variant, because I just do better with automatics. I just like automatics more. Honey Badger, A+. I have not gotten the folding grip yet, but so far it seems like a very positive gun. It doesn't look like it's going to be overpowered anytime soon, but it does perform competitively. I could imagine seeing in a competitive game the Honey Badger being ran by a lurker, or someone who wants to play stealth but have a decent firearm still. The M4A1 going right to A+ as well. I've used it, I've almost mastered it already. Hell, I think I did master it already. I just loved running it. Like when I first got it, got my first 3 kills, unlocked the suppressor, my mind was blown because like, oh my god, the M4A1 SD is in Phantom Forces. If you don't play Counter-Strike, you won't know what I'm talking about, but if you do play Counter-Strike, you know immediately what I'm talking about. And it's awesome to see that. Just for some fun. It performs nicely too. I've had some issues with it, but it's not really overpowered. Its damage is pretty low, honestly, but I think it's okay. I don't think it needs to be buffed. We go down to A, where we see the M4 coming down to A out of A+. Also, yeah, it was the M16A4. The reason for this is because it's burst now. And you have to keep in mind, there is some bias with this tier list. I try and keep a fair and open mind to look at it as fairly as possible, for the lack of a better word, because I cannot think of it. But I feel the burst hurt it. You could still turn it to semi-automatic, but I feel the burst just made the M4 very difficult to use. Because an automatic can outperform it. I mean, it has a much higher fire rate. And the way the burst mechanic got changed, which I think was for the better, it makes it where burst is not as powerful. You can't just spam click. You have to hold down the trigger, let the burst take its course, and it makes the gun harder to use. I mean, run it semi, run it stealth, like you can do what you want. I just feel burst guns are not as powerful. The AK-74 is going to A because it's essentially a worse version of the AKM, which the AKM is just a worse version of the AK-47. And the L-22 coming out of B+, I have no idea why I put it there. I ran it recently, and it performed really good. I actually liked it. Like, it was a really good close quarters gun, but once we start getting out to those assault rifle ranges where you would see carbine start to be a lot more effective, that's where it dropped off. It's more akin to a PDW. And we see the Obrez coming right down to B+. The only reason it's not lower is I'm not looking at it as a secondary. If I was looking at it as a secondary gun, it would be in D tier. It is absolutely the worst secondary, but it's an okay primary. I like to run this with shotguns. That's the only time I like running it. If someone's far away where I can't hit them with my shotgun because I don't use slugs, then I'll take out the Obrez, pop a shot at them, see if I kill them. The Obrez does 50 to 40 damage, meaning if you're shooting for max, you will one-hit headshot them, which is good. That means you have a way to insta-kill them, and if you don't know what the Obrez is, it's literally just a sawed-off Mosin. It's a mini Mosin in the secondary. Lower damage, I feel it's harder to aim with, and it has a slightly higher fire rate. It's an okay gun to support a shotgun, but looking at it as using it on any other gun is just not viable. It can't perform well. And honestly, I won't be surprised if I see it go lower. I imagine it's probably going to go right down to B in the next list, and it'll probably keep going down till it hits C. I'm going to try running it. I'm going to try and give an argument for it, but I'll do my best. And the Tech 9 coming out of C tier, and I expect to see it climb. I recently unlocked the muzzle brake with it, and I started running it in semi-auto, and it's actually a half decent secondary. It might be able to compete with the G18. And if I can get some practice in with it, it might even be the best secondary in the game. Of course, I don't want to go making those predictions because I don't know. I haven't run it too long. I haven't built tactics around it. But expect it, just expect to see it climb a little more. I think it's going to sit maybe about A+. No guns in C, no guns in D. There's no more X guns. Really glad to see that. B+ and B are very small, which is good. Now we just need to just eliminate it. A is pretty small compared to A+, which literally takes up a little bit more than a page. And I wish SS would get lower. Either way, that's the current tier list. I hope it gets improved. I hope it looks better later. But until then, I'm going to have no choice but to stick with having these guns in the current tiers. I'm going to go through, look over some more guns, and update the list more later. So that's, I think, episode 8 maybe. Either way, thanks for watching, and I'll be making another one hopefully soon.